Welcome to TradeTheNVIDIA.com. This is Channel's report is for the 18th. Happy birthday to Isabella. 19 today. We're ever so close here. We're keep flirting, getting higher and higher. We got up to 78, so 21.5 points away from that 4K target from years ago. And regardless, the market here up at this peak level, we still have plenty of activity from shorts here in this particular case. We're holding pretty steady with long-term buyers, so that's why we haven't seen much downside action. Steel has been that's just a flat line for both of those, indicating there just hasn't been much unique activity, except for we're seeing that in Power Mode 2, there is a behind-the-scenes shift in algo behavior. We've now spiked above. We're still holding with the directional Azure line well above 13. I mean, it's at 18, so that's just a pretty extreme level. So from that standpoint, that's keeping the market pretty much where it is. The fact that we haven't had a decline on that, and we're seeing this mixing of the positive to negative inversion flip here, suggests that we're just likely to hold on to that. So you're still going to get some range. And of course, AVM right there at 39.21, literally above that. Got to stay long below it and start thinking that we're going to get a bit more of a significant correction. But you can look at the extreme. There are no extremes. This is anything outside of normal range. And the Nasdaq being behind, right at the 50% level right here, and rejecting, interestingly enough, potential of the steel cross below means there could be more weakness within the Nasdaq. So is that going to make it difficult for the ES to S&P 500 to get to that 4K number? Potentially. But any small rally there would be enough to probably push the S&P. And the fact that we're seeing that divergence between the two makes sense when we think about the Power Mode 2 readings, because there's some kind of rotation moving around from tech into more stable, probably inflationary products. It takes time, so little bit by little bit they'll do it, and then boom. Once it's triggered, it's after the thing's already taken place. We'll already see that taking hold before it does take place. So from a gold standpoint, it's that slow creeping back into it gently. Euro's still flat within there. We know the disaster. From an intraday standpoint, there was a lot of decent activity. We had some short signals that came through, and then every time a little buy was popping in, still got weakness. The little yellow dot representing a new buy, but we can flip to that with a few more bars later. And there were a couple of interesting setups that took place. One here, like where a yellow dot shows that it shouldn't. It's reflecting the steel below the zero, but the real criteria is the steel's got to be above the zero first, then dip down. So it's in the second phase where it's above zero, dips below zero, then I'd be looking for orange to dip below as the buy catalyst in that case. In this case, it didn't do it. It ended up with the boot candle anyway. And that took us to post-market highs, where the DOC spread falls into place, and even by the time we reach the next bars, and then boom, we've retraced to 40. Now, the original pop-up of this was this positive extreme right here, and then we move up to right where we're at, which is the secondary extreme, right around the, what does it say for a low right there? It was 43. Already taken that out. But the ultimate low of 30, right here, I adjusted it, is the secondary one. So on continued weakness, that's where I'll be looking. But they filled in a huge portion of it, all the way to the second positive extreme from that push move. So it's just a matter of continued weakness. They'll fill that one in, and then we can see if there's basing at that point for turnaround moves. So that's the long and short of it. Right now, forming a little bit of an orange candle right here off of fairly decent reset setup. So it should have a little bit of oomph to it. If not, right below the 23%. Makes it easy to gauge that one on the Fibonacci lines. If it stays above that 23, that should be enough to push it. Interesting that right now the zero line is right at the algo level, previous algo level. So, well, it's not really a surprise. It just tends to happen regularly. As always, though, I will hopefully be on the Skype chat feeling a little bit better today and get some action going. As always, trade well. Talk to you later.